Hello and welcome to Bourbon Rocks. Tonight we're going to review Blanton's Straight from the Barrel, which is the barrel-proof version of Blanton's, a very popular bourbon from Buffalo Trace. Now most people know Blanton's as they're very famous for their cork stopper that has the horse on it with an individual letter, and it has the horse in different positions of the gallop. And if you actually can collect all of these, you'll spell out the word Blanton's. And I've shown you what I've done here. I've got all of my little letters basically mounted into this top of a bourbon barrel. You can see the heavy char here, and there's a nice little horseshoe. So it's a nice conversation piece, something to show at parties. And the Blanton's bottle fits right here in the center of it. But anyway, buy enough bourbon from Blanton's, and you can collect all the letters, and you can make something nice like this. But anyway, so tonight we're going to have straight from the barrel. So Blanton's basically is mash bill number 2 from Buffalo Trace, which is their high rye mash bill, although I think that's a bit of a misnomer, and I call it more of a medium rye, somewhere around 20% rye. Mash bill number 1, which is their low rye mash bill, has a rye content of about 11-12%, and that's your Buffalo Trace, your Eagle Rare, your E.H. Taylor's, and your Stag line. But Buffalo Trace mash bill number 2, or their medium rye mash bill, is Blanton's, Elmer T. Lee, Rockwell Farms. And that mash bill is owned by Age International, which is at least partly owned by the Japanese. And so a lot of these specialty bottles of Blanton's were only sold in the Japanese market. For example, the barrel-proof version, straight from the barrel, was only available in Japan, but I believe now it's actually available in the United States, as is Blanton's Gold, which is about 103 proof. The typical Blanton's is 93 proof, and all the Blanton's are aged in Warehouse H, which is the metal-clad warehouse. The typical Blanton's around 6 years of age. The barrel proof, straight from the barrel, the Blanton's Gold, again around 6 to 8 years of age. This particular bottle is bottled at 128.2 proof, being that it is a single barrel. Blanton's was the first single barrel bourbon, and seeing that it is single barrel, each barrel will come out basically at a different proof, and so but this is bottled from a single barrel. This is Blanton's, straight from the barrel, the barrel-proof version of Blanton's, and we're going to try it now and see how it compares, for example, to other versions of Blanton's, particularly the typical 93 proof Blanton's that most people are familiar with. Okay, so we start out looking at the color, and again, you've got that nice kind of amber, orange, brown, copper looking color and so forth. It's about, the body is medium to full. Got some nice, ring around the glass, so that those fatty acids are going to give that little kind of creaminess. It's going to cause it to cling to the glass. You can see the legs coming down the side, about medium to full body. On the nose, now, interesting, being it's a high-proof bourbon, often you'll get hit with that nose of alcohol. This one really doesn't actually hit you too strong on the alcohol at first. Now, we're not reviewing typical Blanton's, but I will throw in some, comments about typical Blanton's and how this kind of differs and so forth. But it's got, interesting, I get some tropical notes almost. There's like a pineapple. It's definitely cake-like, almost like a pineapple upside-down cake, maybe a little cherry on top of it, some whipped cream. It's giving me that definitely cakey, a little bit of tropical and cherry notes. Some brown sugar. Maybe even a little bit of raisin or raisin pie, almost like a carrot cake even, perhaps. A little spice there, that spice cake. Good. I'm definitely thinking cake here. All right. So let's see what we get on the palate. Spice hits you at first, almost a little bit more of like a peppermint even. There's still that, sugar cookie. A little bit later, it's still a cake, but I'm getting now almost a little almondness, like amaretto, like a wedding cake. We're going like through the whole bakery here. There's some mild spice, mild fruit. It's not too spicy. The spice hit me at first, but now it's kind of mellowing out a little bit. Definitely that confectioner's sugar cake, again, that almond. Fruit's kind of dissipated. The pineapple's gone now on the palate. That started out with some of those tropical notes on the nose. I'm not getting that on the palate. Almost like those little cake pops, that you can get at the coffee shops. Spice cake, an almond wedding cake is still in there. The kind of fruit has dissipated. Vanilla has come forward now. That vanilla is predominating in those sort of late palate flavors. The finish is medium. I think it drinks a little bit lower proof. I know it's a barrel proof, straight from the barrel, 128. I'm going to say 128.2 on this bottle. I don't think it really drinks that hot. It did, the first blast of spice did hit you, and then that kind of mellows off as you go. But that cake, I mean, this is like takes regular Blantons to like a confectioner's level. I mean, it's bakery. I started with a little of that, maybe that pineapple upside down cake, moving into the carrot cake, going into the almond cake, and finally with like a little cake pop with vanilla icing. This is good. This is significantly more flavorful than regular Blanton's. Now, I know Blanton's is highly sought after. Whenever it shows up on the shelves of the liquor stores around here, it's gone. As soon as they can open the box and put it up on the shelf, the first 10 people or 12 people come into the store are going to buy it, and it's going to be gone very quickly. And then on the secondary market, it's overpriced. Why is Blanton so highly sought after? Why is it so special to people? My personal belief of Blanton's has always been that it's really nothing spectacular about it. I mean, it's got all your typical bourbon flavors, your caramels, your vanillas, your oak, and so forth. What you would find in most bourbons. Not anything particularly exciting or extraordinary, maybe a little cherry and so forth, but it's really, really pretty plain and pretty simple. But, and this has always been one of my sayings, but Blanton's is just about the most perfect example of a normal, typical bourbon. It's not anything exciting, but it is just extraordinarily well done as a perfect example of a normal bourbon. It's got all the usual bourbon flavors, and it does it like to the T. The straight from the barrel definitely takes it up a notch. You're bringing a lot more interesting flavors out with the pineapple, the almond. It's still very cake-like. There's still a lot of vanilla in it, a little bit of cherry, and it's not too oaky really. There's the caramel. I mean, there's the usual bourbon flavors, but you kind of got this interesting that tropical note, and that almond really kind of is exciting in this, I think. So it's definitely way better than typical Blanton's. Not that typical Blanton's is a bad drink. It's a wonderful everyday, and well, it's hard to say Blanton's is an everyday bourbon because it's hard to come by. But if you've got it, got a whole bunch of Blanton's in the cabinet over there. So it's, that's a typical everyday drinker, but this is definitely a step up. The extra proof gives you a lot more flavor out of the barrel. And I'm going to give it a king. It's not an ace. It's not at the Pappy or the BTAC level. But this is definitely, probably, well, without a doubt, the best expression from mash bill number 2 from Blanton's. Again, the medium rye. They call it high rye, but I would say medium rye mash bill. So anyway, definitely, if you can get some of this, do so. It's definitely worth it. This is Blanton's straight from the barrel. And cheers. Collect all the horses. Check us out on bourbonrocks.com. Thank you.